Justice Department has filed a motion in the Southern District of Florida to unseal a search warrant and property receipt relating to a court-approved search that the FBI conducted earlier this week. That search was of premises located in Florida belonging to the former president.
The stunning announcement from Attorney General Merrick Garland, the Justice Department, asking to publicly release the warrant used to search former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home this week, with the investigation ongoing. Speaking for the first time since the search, Garland said he personally authorized the decision to obtain the warrant. How soon we could see the documents, the legal roadblocks the motion could face, and the new details we are learning about a subpoena given to Trump months ago. An armed standoff with the man accused of trying to break into the FBI field office in Cincinnati. Police say the suspect was armed with an AR-15 style rifle and wearing body armor. Trevor Alt will join us from Ohio. Raging wildfires spreading in the famous wine region of southern France. Thousands have been forced to evacuate their homes, and at least 17,000 acres have been burned. The connection between the climate crisis and the growing flames. Also, fighting fires on the front lines of the war between Russia and Ukraine. Our Ian Panel is on the ground in Ukraine's second largest city, a place bombed relentlessly. We join a fire brigade putting out the flames left behind by shelling, dealing with the haunting aftermath. Neighborhoods turned to rubble. On screen, she was a comedic sensation, but actress Jeanette McCurdy says behind the scenes, she was being controlled and abused by her mother. She's describing her journey to healing in the highly anticipated memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died.
I didn't have an identity without her because she had so vehemently dictated my identity for my entire life. And the process of recognizing, acknowledging, naming, and facing the abuse that I endured at her hand was a difficult process.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Phil Lipoff in for Lindsay Davis tonight. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We begin this Thursday night with a rare and extraordinary request by the Department of Justice 3 days after that unprecedented FBI search of a former president's home. Attorney General Merrick Garland today briefed the public that he has moved to unseal that warrant used to justify and authorize the search. These types of documents are rarely shared before an investigation comes to an end, but the Attorney General said he made the decision because the former president had already publicly confirmed the search and because of what he called the, quote, substantial public interest in this matter. Garland confirmed he authorized the search at Mar-a-Lago Monday. The AG says all proper protocols were followed during the search and that the former president's lawyer was present at the time. Garland said he would not stand by while the integrity of FBI and Justice Department employees was being unfairly attacked. So you might have a lot of questions tonight. We do too. When will we get a look at what's in that warrant? What might it show us? And why did the Justice Department need to search the former president's home now? Our team is standing by to break it all down, and we begin with Chief Washington Correspondent Jonathan Karl.
Under intense pressure to explain the FBI's search of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago property, Attorney General Merrick Garland did something he almost never does. He commented on an ongoing investigation, saying he himself signed off on the FBI's action.
First, I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. Second, the department does not take such a decision lightly. Where possible, it is standard practice to seek less intrusive means as an alternative to a search and to narrowly scope any search that is undertaken.
In fact, ABC News has learned Trump was subpoenaed for the documents earlier this year as DOJ attempted to get him to turn them over without a search warrant. The subpoena was followed by a visit of a smaller contingent of FBI agents to Mar-a-Lago in early June. The raid on Monday came only after DOJ concluded Trump had not turned over everything demanded by the subpoena. Garland said he was only confirming the FBI search because former President Trump had revealed what had happened. Moments before Garland spoke, the Justice Department filed a court motion citing, quote, the public's clear and powerful interest in understanding what occurred and asking the judge to unseal and to make public two key documents, the search warrant and the so-called receipt listing the items taken by federal agents.
The department filed the motion to make public the warrant and receipt in light of the former president's public confirmation of the search, the surrounding circumstances, and the substantial public interest in this matter.
The DOJ filing was signed by the chief of the counterintelligence section of the DOJ National Security Division, suggesting the investigation is related to classified information with national security implications. Garland also addressed attacks on the FBI, some of which have come from prominent Republicans who have accused federal agents of going after Trump for political reasons.
I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked. The men and women of the FBI and the Justice Department are dedicated, patriotic public servants. Every day, they protect the American people from violent crime, terrorism, and other threats to their safety while safeguarding our civil rights. They do so at great personal sacrifice and risk to themselves.
The judge in the case responded quickly to the filing, giving Donald Trump until 3 p.m. tomorrow to reveal whether or not he is going to agree to make the warrant public or fight to keep it secret.
And Jonathan Karl joins us now. John, let's bottom line this. By 3 p.m. tomorrow, we should know whether this may be a prolonged battle to see the warrant. And we are getting late reporting about what the former president is thinking about doing.
Well, you know, no decision has been announced by Trump whether or not he will fight this or go along with it. Keep in mind, Phil, that he has these documents, and he does not need to wait for the judge's order. Donald Trump could release the affidavit, release the warrant and release some of those supporting documents right now if he wanted to. They're in his possession. There's nothing legally preventing him from doing that. But what I have learned is that the Trump team has actually reached out to defense lawyers about what to do to challenge the unsealing of the documents, to challenge the motion the Department of Justice announced they were doing today. That doesn't mean that he's decided to do that, but they're at the very least talking to lawyers about challenging it.
And John, the Attorney General made it pretty clear today. He says all proper protocols were followed there on site during the search.
Absolutely. And then one of those protocols was giving copies of the warrant to Trump's lawyer, who was president at the time, and also giving the list of items that were taken, a redacted list. Keep in mind, what we're talking about here, at least some of the items are classified. So if these are actually unsealed, when we see the list, it will be a redacted list. But they have had that list since this search warrant was executed on Monday.
All right, so we'll be watching for tomorrow, see what the former president does. John Karl, thanks so much.
Thanks, Phil.
I'm joined now by former federal prosecutor and ABC News contributor Khan Nowodeh. Khan, good to see you. There's a lot to tackle here. Let's just start with if it happens, and that's a big if, right? We're still waiting for what the former president will do. But if it happens, how unusual is it to unseal a document like this in the middle of an investigation?
Well, I think it's extremely unusual. It's unprecedented. It's extraordinary. I mean, we've been using that word over and over again, and it keeps coming up. It never happens. And the reason it doesn't happen is in large part, exactly for the reasons that Merrick Garland said earlier today. He said DOJ has to work and the FBI has to work outside the public eye. Why? To protect the constitutional rights of citizens. Which citizen are we talking about? We're talking about the target of the investigation, former President Trump. Just because there's a search warrant out there doesn't mean necessarily committed a crime. So that's the reason they do everything in secret, and also to protect the integrity of the investigation.
So at first, Republicans were saying we need to see what's inside that search warrant, right? So what do we learn if it gets unsealed?
If it gets unsealed, it's going to be very limited. It's not going to be the full facts of the investigation. I highly doubt that the court and Garland is seeking to unseal the law enforcement agent affidavit. That's where all the facts of the investigation are set forth for probable cause. What they're going to unseal is the warrant itself, which is a one-page document, doesn't really say much, and some attachments that set forth the types of documents that can be searched for, and it might set forth the criminal statute that they're investigating.
And we're talking about classified documents, we think, as well, so you can't release what those are either, correct?
Exactly. It's going to be highly redacted. I don't think the release of the warrant and the attachments is actually going to inform much. It'll give people, insight into what they're looking into, but it won't be that illuminating.
We've also learned that Mr. Trump was subpoenaed for documents earlier on this year in the spring. The Attorney General stressed that he does not take the decision to request a search warrant lightly. So what does that tell you about the exchange between the subpoena time and now?
I think what that says is, number one, the government, DOJ, FBI knows that they're missing documents. That's number one. Number two, it also shows that they have some fresh evidence today that tells them this is where we can find stuff, and it's at Mar-a-Lago.
All right, well, all eyes on tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Nowadays, former federal prosecutor, ABC News contributor, we do thank you for your time. Extraordinary as well. Investigative reporter Aaron Katersky joins us now. Aaron, let's drill down a little bit further on the spring subpoena that we learned about today. How important was that? And I guess it's a two-part question, but let's start by reminding our viewers what exactly a subpoena is, the power of it, and what it is asking you to do.
A subpoena is not supposed to be optional. The subpoena apparently sought documents related to this investigation that the FBI had undertaken that sources have told us relates to the handling of classified material that former President Trump allegedly took from the White House as he left office and brought with him to his residence in South Florida. And there was undoubtedly a list of documents that the subpoena sought. What they were has not been made clear, but we've learned that subpoena exists, and that is supposed to be followed by the former president and his team. And it was what's preceded a visit by a number of FBI agents to Mar-a-Lago in June.
Right, and we don't know, to be fair, how former President Trump responded to the subpoena in the spring, but big picture, what are the legal binding aspects of a subpoena and possible penalties for ignoring one?
A penalty for ignoring a subpoena could be contempt of court, potential financial sanctions, as former President Trump knows well. In a wholly separate matter involving the New York Attorney General's office, he flouted a subpoena and was held in contempt and fined $10,000 a day before that contempt order was lifted. Here, it would take the Justice Department to go to court to try and elicit some kind of punishment like that. We don't know what happened behind closed doors, but the Justice Department was apparently not satisfied with the former president's compliance, and that opens the door to what we saw on Monday, a more invasive and provocative step going in and conducting a search. But it does show, as the Attorney General outlined today, that the Justice Department did try to take a less invasive step, but apparently did not get everything they were seeking.
Right, and so it indicates that search warrant may have been sort of a last resort. All of this comes amid multiple investigations ongoing to the president's business dealings in New York and a separate probe in Georgia.
That's right. The former president is facing just an extraordinary legal week as there are maneuvers in all of these cases. The search on Monday, a court ruling on Tuesday that related to turning over his taxes to the House Ways and Means Committee. On Wednesday, he sat for a 6-hour deposition with the New York Attorney General's office. Today's developments with the Attorney General, not to mention the ongoing efforts in Georgia to get some of his associates to testify about the effort to involve fake electors into the presidential election. And then it all ends tomorrow, Phil, on Friday with the appearance of Trump's long-serving chief financial officer at the Trump Organization, Alan Weisselberg. He has been criminally charged in a case that raises questions about how certain executives in the president's company are paid with off-the-books perks. Weisselberg has pleaded not guilty. But each and every day this week, there's been something that is tied to the former president.
And this could have all been avoided, I gather, if the DOJ got exactly what they were looking for from that original subpoena, right?
The search on Monday, you'd think could have been avoided if we're to take Garland's word that the Justice Department, the FBI, tried something less invasive like the subpoena, and they didn't have to return with this contingent of agents to try and search the home of the former president. But again, we don't know what happened behind closed doors or how the former president responded or complied or didn't comply. But clearly the FBI did not get everything it was seeking and was concerned enough to take this extraordinary step of searching a former president's home.
Right, and now all eyes 3 o'clock tomorrow to see what the former president does in response to Merrick Garland and the DOJ's announcement today. Aaron Katersky, Thanks so much.
Thank you, Phil.
All right, the search has sparked strong reaction from both Republicans and Democrats, as you've been seeing. Let's bring in ABC News political director Rick Klein to discuss all of this. Rick, good to see you. There has been a lot of political pressure on Attorney General Merrick Garland to investigate former President Trump, really since he took office by the Democrats. That pressure campaign is ongoing.
Yeah, Phil, it's interesting because it feels like it all made a 180-degree turn in the last couple of days. There was enormous frustration on the left among progressives and among many Trump critics that Garland wasn't doing more and more quickly to show the fruits of any investigations. Garland himself appeared frustrated just last week, saying very sternly at a news conference, no one is above the law. Then the action comes on Monday, and now Democrats are in the position of essentially trusting Garland that he's handling this appropriately. A lot of them were breathing a lot easier after he outlined the steps that he took, revealing today that he authorized the warrant himself, putting the pressure now critically back on Trump to essentially put up or shut up when it comes to the information that was contained in the search warrant and then again in any kind of itemization of what was taken away. He's saying, look, we'll tell you, they'll tell the world if you're willing to tell the world. So then it's back, the pressure's back on Donald Trump to make the next move.
Right, so let's take a look at the other side right now. Republicans have already made statements about Garland's press conference. For example, Senator Lindsey Graham saying that, quote, I am urging, actually insisting the DOJ and the FBI lay their cards on the table as to why this course of action was necessary. Until that is done, he says, the suspicion will continue to mount. But the DOJ is, in essence, as you said, putting the ball in the former president's court. My question to you, politically, Rick, is that enough to appease critical Republican voices here?
Almost certainly not. I don't think Senator Graham is going to feel like that's sufficient. He's a lawyer. He knows how this works. He also knows how highly unusual it would be for the Attorney General to speak publicly about some material aspects of an investigation until he's ready to make a decision about whether to pursue a prosecution or not. He knows how that works. He's asking for that precedent to get broken, knowing that there would be huge outrage if he did it, and a lot of it rightful outrage. A lot of this is colored by the memories of the Trump years, the way that James Comey, frankly, handled the Hillary Clinton email investigation in the late stages of the 2016 campaign, a long memory. I thought was interesting in Senator Graham's statement talking about how half the country doesn't trust that the justice around Donald Trump is legitimate. What he doesn't mention there are the efforts that Donald Trump and many people around him have undergone to try to undermine that trust, to persuade people that there's some kind of a political hit job here or a bureaucracy that's looking to take down a former president without any evidence, without knowing a single thing about what the raid was about on Monday.
Yeah, and it's a political lens we're looking through at this moment. We're coming off a series of primary elections where several Trump-endorsed candidates won. So I ask you, how could this very public reaction to the search of former President Trump's home play out in the polls? Is it along party lines? What do you think?
Well, on one level, anything that talks about Donald Trump again before the midterms and may even push him closer to a presidential run makes it easier for the Democrats to put Trump front and center. In their view, they won the 2018 and 2020 elections by putting Trump front and center. The fact that he's an ex-president now makes it a little harder because they have their own president to defend, but they like the contrast. On the other hand, if this raid doesn't pursue or doesn't produce any kind of tangible evidence around why it was sought, you could imagine a backlash. And you could imagine how this is seen among Trump supporters as something that is exactly what they and President Trump has been talking about for years, making it look like there is a politicized Department of Justice. Frankly, it glosses over a long history of Trump himself politicizing the Justice Department, firing the FBI director, insisting on investigations of political rivals, including one that led to the first impeachment trial. But nonetheless, it is a talking point that Republicans have used very, very consistently. The aftermath of the Monday raid, it has only fed that furor to say that this is a Justice Department and an FBI that in some sense have gone rogue, again, without evidence. But in terms of politics, it has given the Republicans quite something to run on.
All right, Rick Klein, thanks for adding your voice and your expertise to the conversation. We always appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, Bill.
All right, we want to shift now to the latest example of authorities being on high alert all across this country. A suspect is dead tonight after trying to break into the Cincinnati FBI office. Now, we want to be clear. As of right now, it is not known whether this latest attack on law enforcement is connected to the series of threats following the FBI's court-authorized search of former President Trump's home. We don't know that right now, but our Trevor Ault is in Cincinnati for us tonight.
Tonight, a dramatic hours-long armed shootout and standoff in Ohio after an attempted break-in at an FBI field office. Authorities say just after 9 this morning, a man dressed in body armor with an AR-15 and a nail gun tried to breach the visitor screening facility.
He was armed. He was unsuccessful and he fled that area.
The suspect fleeing 60 miles down a highway in a white Crown Victoria.
They're following a car for the FBI, so there were about 7 units, I believe, on the car.
Officers trying to stop him when the suspect opens fire from his vehicle.
Once the vehicle came to a stop, gunfire was exchanged between officers on scene and the suspect.
The suspect then pinned down in a cornfield, authorities urging residents to shelter inside. Then late this afternoon, officials announcing the standoff was over and the suspect is dead. The FBI was already on high alert. Senior law enforcement officials telling ABC News there's been a notable uptick in threats against agents since the raid at Mar-a-Lago. The chaos coming just 24 hours after FBI Director Christopher Wray was asked if he was worried about violence given the search and what we saw on January 6th.
Violence against law enforcement is not the answer, no matter what anybody's upset about or who they're upset with.
And Trevor Ault joins us now from that FBI field office there in Cincinnati. And Trevor, we just heard from officials moments ago with some new details. What do they have to say?
So, Phil, what they told us is that they say they tried repeatedly to negotiate with this suspect throughout the day. They said they also used non-lethal ammunition, but it didn't work. And then ultimately, the suspect drew his weapon at them. They opened fire and killed this suspect. Now, in this press conference, the FBI said they had not yet confirmed the ID of the suspect, but ABC News has just confirmed from multiple sources that the suspect is 42-year-old Ricky Schiffer. So we do know his name, but what is still unclear, Phil, is his motive. Phil.
All right, Trevor Ault from Cincinnati tonight. Trevor, thank you. Overseas now in Europe, sweltering and recurring heat waves have taken more than 1,000 lives as tonight, Southwest France is on fire. Wildfires raging in wine country and fueled by the worst drought on record. Chief meteorologist Ginger Z reports from France tonight.
Tonight, firefighters from across Europe converging on southwestern France to fight a fire that authorities are calling a monster. About 10,000 people forced from their homes, some of those homes already gutted.
Le feu se propage en de nuit.
This fire official saying the flames arrived very violently and very quickly.
The explosive fire growth coming after the driest July on record and France's fourth intense heat wave since May. Blistering heat plaguing Europe all summer, killing more than 1,000 people in Portugal and Spain alone. More than 60% of the continent now experiencing drought, all amplified by our changing and warming climate.
The plume of smoke visible from space. Both smoke and flames threatening to damage the Bordeaux region's famed wine grapes.
Endless rows of these scorched forests, and we know now that this fire was started by the smolderings of the fire that was 3 weeks ago that had more than 40,000 people evacuated. This is a region in France that has just been tortured by epic wildfires this year. So far in 2022, more than 141,000 acres of French countryside have been scorched in wildfires. That is nearly 6 times the amount they see in a normal year. So the firefighters that are all kind of going out tonight to lay down the fire even more and put in new fire lines have said that the fire activity has gotten a bit easier, but by tomorrow the conditions are expected to be worse. They have Germany, Poland, tons of countries around Europe have sent in help because this fire ballooned to more than 18,000 acres. Phil?
Ginger Z reporting in tonight from France. Ginger, thank you. Meantime, the search for a missing girl is intensifying tonight. Police believe the 16-year-old may have been abducted after a party at a campsite near Lake Tahoe. Her father is making a very public plea, begging the community to help find her. ABC's Kana Whitworth has the latest.
Tonight, the urgent search for a missing California teen. Crews working by land, lake, and air looking for 16-year-old Kylie Rodney.
We need information and we need clues. We need people to give us things, even if it's seemingly small. But we're going to continue our efforts.
Authorities today releasing a new photo of Kylie showing unique jewelry they say she was last seen wearing early Saturday morning. On Friday, surveillance camera capturing her visiting a local business just after 6 p.m. Investigators say she was wearing a black bodysuit, black studded belt, green Dickie pants, and black Vans. Kylie disappearing after attending a party at a campground near Lake Tahoe. Her best friend, Sammy Smith, says she was with Kylie the entire party.
I had asked her if she could give me a ride home, and then I realized that she was too intoxicated to give me a ride home.
Kylie's car, a 2013 silver Honda CR-V, also missing. Authorities hoping someone has seen it.
Because we haven't yet located her vehicle, we're treating this disappearance as an abduction.
Kylie's parents desperate for answers. Her father, Daniel, speaking for the first time overnight.
We need answers, and you need answers. This is Tahoe. This isn't supposed to happen here.
And Phil, video has emerged of a fight that happened that night. And while authorities are saying at this point it is not connected to her disappearance, they are looking into it and they're asking for more evidence. They're also asking parents that had kids at the party that night to look through their kids' phones, look at pictures and video and social media, because anything could help police put together their timeline. Phil?
All right, Kana Whitworth, thanks for the reporting tonight. When we come back, new video gives another terrifying perspective on a deadly house explosion as we learn more about the people who were inside. How actress Jeanette McCurdy says she's using her new memoir to heal from a troubled childhood. Our Will Reed sits down with her for a revealing and deeply personal conversation. And battling fires on the front lines of a war, Ukrainian firefighters are facing more than just the flames. We go to Ukraine's second largest city to see how they are dealing with the constant scenes of destruction and death. It's a remarkable story of resilience in the face of terror. Stay with us.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any place else. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast, now streaming on ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Admit it, these days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
The hottest views in daytime are happening right here.
We talk about things on this show that people don't talk about. That I can't wait to see.
Honest takes from strong women.
We need all hands on deck, and we need it right now.
This is the time to speak out. Unafraid to get real.
We stick by our points of view.
We're all seeing it differently, and that's the beauty of The View.
And that's why the most watched #1 daytime talk show is The View. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
America is being poisoned with fentanyl, and we don't even know it.
Just heard my wife screaming. She told me they had just died.
50 to 100 times more potent than morphine.
Keep breathing, come on.
It's poison. It's pure poison.
A few grains of salt worth of fentanyl will kill you.
Just my agency has seized enough to kill the entire country.
ABC News Live presents Poisoned, America's Fentanyl Crisis. The powerful series, streaming free on ABC News Live. Take America's #1 news with you, anywhere you go, anytime, free. Download the ABC News app now. Breaking news, exclusives, 24/7. There for you with one touch. The ABC News app. Download it now. America's #1 news, ABC News. Most watched, most trusted, and streaming live to you, anytime, anywhere, and free. This is ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Free to you 24/7. Watch America's #1 news whenever you want it, wherever you are, anytime. ABC News Live, streaming live and free on all platforms.
Welcome back. It is difficult to look at. This Ring video is revealing a fresh horror about the deadly Indiana home explosion that we first reported to you yesterday. The jarring blast was felt blocks away, and tonight investigators are still trying to figure out what triggered it. 3 people were killed, 2 inside that home, a third in a neighboring home. A 4th person was hospitalized. In total, 39 homes were damaged in that neighborhood. In Ukraine, for months, first responders have been racing to a different type of destruction. The war started by Russia shows no signs of slowing down. And in Ukraine's second largest city of Kharkiv, which is just miles from the border, the reality of everyday life is at times unbearable. Yet people keep pushing forward. ABC's chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell has spent much of the last several days in that city with its fighters. And as you will see, he found scenes that are both haunting and courageous.
For the last 6 months, Roman Kachanov has been fighting fires on the front lines of Ukraine's war. Stepping over the fragments of lives lost and destroyed, he works amongst the rubble and the shrapnel, looking for a fire.
We need to extinguish it. Let's go 1 floor more.
This printing plant was shelled 2 days ago, but the fires still burn beneath. The suspected area is doused with water. But the owner of the building asks Roman to be careful, hoping to salvage what he can.
Very expensive equipment for typography below, and he don't want to make it spoiled.
His home city's been attacked by Russia since the war began. The strikes used to take a toll on Roman, constantly responding to scenes of death and destruction. But now he says as long as there are no victims, it doesn't affect him so much.
For first months, each call was emotional. If you know there is nobody inside, there is no emotion, so you know you need to go there, do your job.
And yet, there are the calls that still haunt, the personal ones, like the bombed building he was called to, where one of the victims was his daughter's friend.
There was 3 kids injured. One of them used to go to the judo classes with my girl, and he right now in the Germany is trying to save his legs.
The fire station's been Roman's home since February 24th, the day the war began. He sent his wife and young daughter to Germany for safety, and he stayed behind.
I first saw you online on Instagram. You're very forthright that this is a war that just doesn't make sense. What on earth is the point of this?
Because one madman wants to do something which will be profitable only for him. Of course, everybody understands it's pointless war.
Much of Russia's firepower has been unleashed onto Saltivka, a huge residential neighborhood in Kharkiv, once bustling with families. Ukraine's second city is less than 20 miles from Russia. Most residents speak Russian. Many have family across the border. The Kremlin, assuming it would be an easy target, launched a failed attempt to occupy Kharkiv. Putin totally underestimated the strength of resistance. And Kharkiv's been standing up to Putin's onslaught every day since the war began. But the toll has been immense. Residents have had to witness the painful gnawing away at the fabric of their city, of the home they love. Many who stayed behind are too old, too poor, or just too proud to leave. Many rely on volunteers from local charity 450 and the World Central Kitchen. Over 12,000 meals are prepared every day. Often, it's their only lifeline. And for a few moments, those who stayed behind come together as a community.
How tough is life here for the residents who stayed behind?
Очень тяжело, потому что во многих домах нет света, во многих домах нет газа, воды. Вот здесь вы видите импровизированный душ, импровизированная кухня.
Так, все, мальчики.
Все, дякую вам.
Все расписано, все, каждому даем. Кушать, обеды, никого не оставляем. Валя, идите разбирать.
Valentina's one of those who depends on the daily visits. She's lived in Saltivka for 32 years, and since the Russians started bombing, she starts each day with a cigarette to calm her nerves.
О, эти вот все стреляют, бабахают. Да, вот все через нас. 3 часа не спала ночью. Вот, и как начали во 2 часу и до утра. Мы уже различаем, где наши бьют, где оккупанты. Вот, мы уже знаем. Знаем, когда ракета летит, и наши пытаются ее сбить, мы уже понимаем.
Valentina's only wish is to survive this war, and each day she knows it could be her last. She and the dozens who are left behind live among the ruins of their homes, of their neighborhood.
I mean, it's hard to imagine that this was where someone was living. You can see the fire that's been here, the bomb damage. The only thing remaining that tells you this was someone's home is a radiator in the corner there. It's utterly shocking what they've done.
The scene is surreal. In one part of the building, complete devastation. And in the other, a kitchen intact. A clock still keeps time for a family that have long since fled. Many are left to sift through the remains of their lives. Yuri and Helena have just returned to this. They've been told to leave when the fighting became too intense.
Мы были здесь, в Харькове, когда обстрел был. Мы видели трупы людей, когда лежали вот здесь вот на тротуарах. Мы видели разорванных людей. Я лично, вот она, видели людей этих разорванных.
Первые дни.
Первые дни. Мы лично видели.
Юр, успокойся, только не надо нервничать.
И после этого они хотят, чтобы мы с ними дружили. Не будет этого. Ну не будет этого.
This is the hallmark of Putin's invasion. Terror. Lives destroyed. People left to bear the scars of a war that Ukraine had no say in. But amidst the ruins, there is hope and resistance. Life goes on amid the bombs and the shelling. The mayor of Kharkiv, stoic, even as the sound of war rings out.
You've received a lot of support from America, but I hear from every Ukrainian it's still not enough. You need more to stop the attacks on these kind of buildings and to win this war. What do you say?
Смотрите, на самом деле на сегодняшнем этапе это вооружение. Это номер один. Все остальное вторично, все остальное мы будем отстраивать, когда отгоним эту нечисть с нашей земли, когда они уйдут из нашей земли.
The reconstruction may be years away, but the residents of Kharkiv stand strong. People like Roman who choose to stay because this is their home, and whatever Putin throws at them, Roman and his crew will be ready to stand, protect, and save their city.
It's such an emotionally difficult but important story to tell. Ian Pannell from Kharkiv, Ukraine tonight. Thank you. Still ahead here on Prime, officials now say a girl who went missing in 2019 was actually murdered, but they still haven't found her body. So how investigators came to that grim conclusion. New details about the crash involving actress Anne Heche. A growing number of streaming platforms are scrambling for subscribers, but who's making the most headway and how much is it going to cost you? We take a look at the streaming wars by the numbers. But first, our tweet of the day. NASA says look up tonight and take a picture.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
How cute.
Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
This is ABC News Live. The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
America is being poisoned with fentanyl, and we don't even know it.
Just heard my wife screaming. She told me they had just died.
50 to 100 times more potent than morphine.
Keep breathing, come on.
It's poison. It's pure poison.
A few grains of salt worth of fentanyl will kill you.
Just my agency has seized enough to kill the entire country.
ABC News Live presents Poisoned, America's Fentanyl Crisis. The powerful series, streaming free on ABC News Live.
These days, with so much going on, it's hard to keep up.
While others are recapping yesterday's headlines,
we're bringing you the right now.
This is the busy border crossing. Steel barricades, another strike.
The right now look at the day ahead, how it affects you and your family.
Record high gas prices.
the threat of cyber warfare.
Is peace possible?
World News Now beginning at 2 a.m. Eastern, followed by America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
Streaming here on ABC News Live.
Take America's #1 news with you, anywhere you go, anytime, free. Download the ABC News app now. Breaking news, exclusives, 24/7. There for you with one touch. The ABC News app. Download it now.
As of today, in a big way, we have inaugurated abcnews.com.
A lot has changed in our world since Peter made that announcement. But what hasn't changed is the commitment to groundbreaking reporting and innovation at abcnews.com. And here's to everything ahead.
Welcome back. If you're streaming with us right now, you're well aware that a growing number of platforms are racing for subscribers and profits. We're going to have a look now at the streaming war by the numbers. 221 million subscribers for Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN puts the company in the #1 slot in the streaming wars. The announcement yesterday bumped Netflix with 220.7 million subscribers to #2. $1.1 billion. That's how much Disney's video streaming business lost in the third quarter. The segment has lost more than $7 billion since its 2019 entry into the streaming race. A 37% price hike is part of Disney's answer. Ad-free Disney Plus will cost $10.99 a month starting in December, or for the current $7.99 rate, you can watch with advertisements. 2023, that's when Netflix says it too will launch an ad-supported subscription rate. Nearly 30% of HBO Max customers opt for an ad-supported service with lower monthly fees, and Paramount Plus is finding popularity as well with ads. Meantime, Amazon Prime's growth has stalled at around 172 million subscribers after its $20 a year price hike earlier this year. It's a shifting landscape as media companies race to figure out who you will choose to stream with. By the way, we do have to mention that Disney is the parent company of ABC News, and as always, we appreciate you streaming with us. We have a lot more to get to here on Prime. The CDC releases new COVID guidelines for some exposed to COVID and for students as they start to return to class, and the outcome of a trial against two companies accused of not doing enough to help during the Flint water crisis. But first, a look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
With so much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Now streaming on ABC News Live 2020. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues. The Hunt. True crime 2020. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
National parks are incredibly safe places, but crime will happen.
Hey, my wife has fallen. She's in really critical condition.
At that time, I thought it was just a tragic accident.
There's still a lot of questions we need to ask.
There were small things that didn't totally add up.
This is 2 lives for Harold that have died now. I was shocked. Something's not right.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
But to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
I know what happened, and I'm not guilty.
Why the fascination with criminal trials? Figure out what's really out there.
She revealed she had murdered his family.
I know in my heart that he did this.
It's the time of suspicion. The ending's really tough.
You don't know whether truth is going to be difficult to find unless you try to find it.
America's #1 news, ABC News. Most watched, most trusted, and streaming live to you anytime, anywhere, and free. This is ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news, free to you 24/7. Watch America's #1 news whenever you want it, wherever you are, anytime. ABC News Live, streaming live and free on all platforms.
Amid growing pressure to explain the search at former President Trump's Florida estate, Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the DOJ has filed a motion to unseal limited information about the search warrant. The Attorney General said he personally approved the decision to seek the warrant. Sources tell ABC News the search was part of a probe into possible classified documents Trump improperly took to Mar-a-Lago after leaving the White House. Garland also says the DOJ will respond through court filings and says violent threats against DOJ and FBI workers won't stand.
I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked.
The CDC has updated its COVID-19 guidance. Health officials say if you've been exposed to the virus and you're unvaccinated, you no longer need to isolate at home. This puts unvaccinated people on par with vaccinated people, essentially eliminating isolation after COVID exposure.
Instead, the CDC suggests those unvaccinated should wear a mask for 10 days and test after 5. The new guidance also included advice for those who do get COVID on how to safely test to end their isolation. And with many students returning to school, the CDC also eliminated the Test to Stay program many schools use to allow exposed students to stay in class. New details on the fiery car crash involving actress Anne Heche. The Los Angeles Police Department confirms to ABC News that Heche's blood test results from shortly after the crash showed she had narcotics in her system. Investigators are working to rule out a positive result based on any drugs given to her at the hospital. Heche's representative told ABC News Monday that the actress was still unconscious and in critical condition following the one-car crash, which also damaged a home in the area. Officials in New Hampshire have concluded a girl missing for nearly 3 years was murdered. Harmony Montgomery, who would be 8 years old if alive today, disappeared in 2019. The state's attorney general said today that multiple sources of information, including biological evidence, led investigators to conclude that Harmony was murdered in the Manchester area in December 2019. Harmony's remains have not yet been located, and officials said they were still investigating the circumstances of her killing. A Flint water crisis case ends with a mistrial. Jurors were unable to reach a verdict in the case of 2 engineering firms and their culpability. In a lawsuit involving 4 children exposed to the water, Veolia North America and Lockwood, Andrews and Newman were accused of not doing enough to get the city to respond to the water crisis. The firms were not part of the $626 million settlement for Flint water crisis victims. A major honor for the late Bill Russell. The NBA announced today that the Celtics legend's number 6 jersey would be retired by every NBA team to honor his accomplishments on and off the court. The 11-time NBA champion died on July 31st at age 88. The league said Russell would be honored throughout the upcoming NBA season, with all teams featuring a jersey patch and a special logo on their courts. Russell becomes the first NBA player to have his number permanently retired by every team.
Former actress Jeanette McCurdy is ready to tell her story. The former child star, known for her hit roles in iCarly and Sam and Cat, has released her new memoir. I'm Glad My Mom Died is what it's called. It's about her late mother pushing her to become a Nickelodeon star, which then led to anxiety that manifested itself into addiction, mental health issues, and eating disorders, and unhealthy relationships. She sat down with our Will Reeve to discuss why she felt it was so important to share her story now.
Well, thanks for doing this and being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, the book it's buzzy, it's deep, it's personal, and it's really, really good. And I want to start there. Had you been writing for a long time and just turned it into a memoir, or did you make a decision and start writing from zero?
No, I made a decision after doing a lot of the processing for the subject matter that I talk about in the book. I had to do all that work on my own in therapy. That was important to me to really explore, since so much of it is so personal. I had to explore it privately and just intimately with myself before going anywhere near exploring it in a creative or public-facing way.
The cover of the book, it's you, you've got this half smile, you've got an urn with confetti popping out. The title is attention-grabbing.
Yeah.
I'm Glad My Mom Died. Tell me about this design and what you were hoping to achieve with this book cover.
I put a lot of thought into the book cover, and I sort of knew fairly early on what I wanted the concept to be. I wanted it to showcase the dark humor of the book, and I also wanted to showcase the finding inspiration, finding celebration through tragedy. So that was the intention behind confetti popping out of the urn. And it was important to me also that my facial expression was appropriate.
What was your process like as you wrote the book?
I was laughing, I was crying. There was a wide array of emotions, and I enjoyed it a lot. I had a lot of fun writing it.
I was struck, so just on a personal note, my parents died when I was young. Growing up losing parents, I never conceived of the notion that anybody else had a different experience than I did, where these were my heroes and role models and best friends and guiding lights, and then they were gone and I was lost.
That's how I felt when my mom initially died. I was devastated. I felt like I was nothing without her. I didn't know who I was without her. I didn't have an identity without her because she had so vehemently dictated my identity for my entire life. And the process of recognizing, acknowledging, naming, and facing the abuse that I endured at her hand was a difficult process, and it took a long time for me to face that. It was definitely something I was not ready to face initially at all.
What was your mom like?
Oh man, she was complicated. She was layered. She could be incredibly charming and captivating. She had an energy that was at times infectious, and she could also be intimidating. She could also be scary. She was 4'11" and a powerhouse like I've never seen.
In the book, you reveal you wanted to quit acting at a young age.
She's Carly. She's Sam. Sam I am. Carly, Sam. I think they're clear.
You
Demonstrate the
didn't want to tell your mom how you felt, and then you get one of the lead roles on iCarly, and you wrote, everything is going to be different now. Everything's going to be better. Mom will finally be happy. Her dream has come true.
Yes.
A lot of work being done in that final clause there. Her dream has come true.
I lived for my mom. I completely lived for her. I wanted to do what she wanted. I truly couldn't identify my own wants and needs when my mom was alive because I was just oriented around what would please her and what would satisfy her. And it's only since she's passed and since I've been able to explore my relationship with her through the writing of this book that I've been able to identify my own wants and needs and discover myself and my authenticity.
Your mom had all these dreams for you on your behalf. She wanted you to be this big famous actor and do all these things in the entertainment industry.
Sure.
She wanted all these things for you. Did she succeed in her goals for you?
She did succeed in her goals for me. I think she did. But then there was a really interesting turn that happened once I started to get the things that she had wanted for so long. Once I started to achieve the goals that she had set for us. Once I started to achieve the success that I thought would satisfy her, she didn't seem satisfied, and it was it further complicated our relationship.
You write, millions of people dream of being famous, and here I am with fame and hating it. I somehow feel entitled to my hatred since I was not the one who dreamed of being famous. Mom was. Mom pushed this on me. I'm allowed to hate someone else's dream, even if it's my reality. That sounds like a really difficult space to be in every day of your life. What was that experience like?
I'm glad you asked, because the highs and lows of life and the juxtaposition of those highs and lows is kind of where my sense of humor comes from. I just, at the time it was definitely difficult, but now I think there's a lot of humor to the fact that I was on this glossy, polished show while also, experiencing a lot of more personal hardships.
Your mom dies from cancer in 2013, and at the time you're struggling with disordered eating and obsessive compulsive disorder, anxiety. What was happening in your life, and was there a specific low point, or was it more of an evolution to get out of it?
It's so interesting to me now because I can recall where I was then, and I wish I knew then where I would be now today. I wish I could have shown myself a snapshot. I would not have believed it. It makes me emotional thinking about it. God, just where I've come from and what I've come to makes me really proud. Everything that happened a long time ago, and now that I'm able to look back on it and laugh about these things that happened, it's amazing. It's truly amazing.
What are your aspirations for the future?
More writing, directing, those are my aims. A recent thought is I might be open to returning to acting at some point. It'd have to be the right thing.
What are your hopes and dreams for this book?
I hope people appreciate the honesty. Well, I know that I put so much of myself into this book. I put 110% all of myself into it, and there are a lot of things that I say that are uncomfortable to say, and that level of honesty has been liberating and fulfilling for me, and I hope it's that way for other people, and I hope they're inspired to maybe explore some of their own uncomfortable truths.
If you could tell your mom one thing today, what would you want her to know?
Oof. That's really tough. That's the longest I've ever paused before answering, and I'm still not sure. What would I want her to know? I'm happier now.
Simple.
Simple.
Yet profound.
I'm happier now, and also I now shampoo my own hair.
Hugely important.
Our thanks to Will Reeve for that interview. You can find I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy everywhere books are sold. Before we go tonight, the image of the day, the statement that will be written about for years, probably decades. Attorney General Merrick Garland announcing that the Department of Justice has filed a motion to unseal the search warrant, as well as a property receipt for what was taken from former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence. That's our show for this hour. Stay with ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. I'm Phil Lipoff. Thanks for streaming with us. And coming up in the next hour, monkeypox cases surpass another troubling milestone here in the U.S. And more coverage on the Justice Department's motion to unseal a warrant used to search former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home.
America's #1 news, ABC News. Most watched, most trusted, and streaming live to you anytime, anywhere, and free. This is ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news, free to you 24/7. Watch America's #1 news whenever you want it, wherever you are, anytime. ABC News Live, streaming live and free on all platforms. Take America's #1 news with you, anywhere you go, anytime, free. Download the ABC News app now. Breaking news, exclusives, 24/7, there for you with one touch. The ABC News app. Download it now.
With so much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
He thought he was God.
He's now one of the most vilified men in the world. He is the everyman. Zelensky is the Tom Hanks of Ukraine.
The fact that a little nice Jewish boy is 5'7" is showing up this KGB agent in the Kremlin.
What do you say to Americans who see Russia and you not only as a rival, but an unfriendly adversary?
Two men at war.
Which Vladimir will take over. The world is not going to be the same.
So what's good to read this summer?
Well, Kate and I have decided to jump in and help you.
And we're talking with Oprah, John Irving, and so many popular authors and influencers.
So we want you to join us. Myself, Charlie Gibson, and my daughter, Kate Gibson.
Oh, hey, that's me.
That is you. For the new podcast series, it is called The Bookcase with Kate and Charlie.
We will make sure you love what you read.
Listen anywhere and anytime. The Bookcase Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Phil Lipoff in for Lindsay Davis. Thanks for streaming with us tonight. We are monitoring several developments here at ABC News at this hour. The continuing rise in monkeypox cases. The CDC confirming the U.S. has surpassed 10,000 infections now, and health officials are scrambling to contain the outbreak. This coming as one case of polio has been detected in upstate New York, and while COVID cases appear to be plateauing across the nation. Brianna Greer, the Georgia woman who died after falling out of a police car last month, was laid to rest today. The 28-year-old was arrested by the Hancock County Sheriff's Office after her mother called 911 saying she was experiencing a mental health crisis. Greer fell out of the car's rear passenger door after it was not closed. She had been handcuffed in front of her body and was not wearing a seatbelt. She died 6 days later. A judge could soon decide if Scott Peterson, convicted of murdering his wife Lacey and their unborn son in the early 2000s, will get another chance to try to prove his innocence. The request for a new trial centers around whether a juror lied when she told the court she had never been involved in a domestic violence case. Throughout the hearing, Peterson's attorney argues the juror failed to inform the court that she had been a victim of domestic violence and while she was pregnant. Next to the rare and extraordinary request by the Department of Justice 3 days after that unprecedented FBI search of a former president's home, Attorney General Merrick Garland today briefed the public that he has moved to unseal the warrant used to justify and authorize that search. What comes next? Chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Call reports.
Under intense pressure to explain the FBI's search of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago property, Attorney General Merrick Garland did something he almost never does. He commented on an ongoing investigation, saying he himself signed off on the FBI's action.
First, I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. Second, the department does not take such a decision lightly. Where possible, it is standard practice to seek less intrusive means as an alternative to a search and to narrowly scope any search that is undertaken.
In fact, ABC News has learned Trump was subpoenaed for the documents earlier this year as DOJ attempted to get him to turn them over without a search warrant. The subpoena was followed by a visit of a smaller contingent of FBI agents to Mar-a-Lago in early June. The raid on Monday came only after DOJ concluded Trump had not turned over everything demanded by the subpoena. Garland said he was only confirming the FBI search because former President Trump had revealed what had happened. Moments before Garland spoke, the Justice Department filed a court motion citing, quote, the public's clear and powerful interest in understanding what occurred and asking the judge to unseal and to make public two key documents, the search warrant and the so-called receipt listing the items taken by federal agents.
The department filed the motion to make public the warrant and receipt in light of the former president's public confirmation of the search, the surrounding circumstances, and the substantial public interest in this matter.
The DOJ filing was signed by the chief of the counterintelligence section of the DOJ National Security Division, suggesting the investigation is related to classified information with national security implications. Garland also addressed attacks on the FBI, some of which have come from prominent Republicans who have accused federal agents of going after Trump for political reasons.
I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked. The men and women of the FBI and the Justice Department are dedicated, patriotic public servants. Every day, they protect the American people from violent crime, terrorism, and other threats to their safety while safeguarding our civil rights. They do so at great personal sacrifice and risk to themselves.
The judge in the case responded quickly to the filing, giving Donald Trump until 3 p.m. tomorrow to reveal whether or not he is going to agree to make the warrant public or fight to keep it secret.
I'm joined now by former federal prosecutor and ABC News contributor Khan Nowodeh. Khan, good to see you. There's a lot to tackle here. Let's just start with if it happens, and that's a big if, right? We're still waiting for what the former president will do. But if it happens, how unusual is it to unseal a document like this in the middle of an investigation?
Well, I think it's extremely unusual. It's unprecedented. It's extraordinary. I mean, we've been using that word over and over again, and it keeps coming up. It never happens. And the reason it doesn't happen is in large part, exactly for the reasons that Merrick Garland said earlier today. He said DOJ has to work and the FBI has to work outside the public eye. Why? To protect the constitutional rights of citizens. Which citizen are we talking about? We're talking about the target of the investigation, former President Trump. Just because there's a search warrant out there doesn't mean necessarily committed crime. So that's the reason they do everything in secret, and also to protect the integrity of the investigation.
So at first, Republicans were saying we need to see what's inside that search warrant, right? So what do we learn if it gets unsealed?
If it gets unsealed, it's going to be very limited. It's not going to be the full facts of the investigation. I highly doubt that the court and Garland is seeking to unseal the law enforcement agent affidavit. That's where all the facts of the investigation are set forth for probable cause. What they're going to unseal is the warrant itself, which is a one-page document, doesn't really say much, and some attachments that set forth the types of documents that can be searched for, and it might set forth the criminal statute that they're investigating.
And we're talking about classified documents, we think, as well, so you can't release what those are either, correct?
Exactly. It's going to be highly redacted. I don't think the release of the warrant and the attachments is actually going to inform much. It'll give people, insight into what they're looking into, but it won't be that illuminating.
We've also learned that Mr. Trump was subpoenaed for documents earlier on this year in the spring. The Attorney General stressed that he does not take the decision to request a search warrant lightly. So what does that tell you about the exchange between the subpoena time and now?
I think what that says is, number one, the government, DOJ, FBI knows that they're missing documents. That's number one. Number two, it also shows that they have some fresh evidence today that tells them this is where we can find stuff, and it's at Mar-a-Lago.
All right, well, all eyes on tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Khan Nowodeh, former federal prosecutor, ABC News contributor, we do thank you for your time. Extraordinary as well. We now shift to the latest example of authorities being on high alert all across this country. A suspect is dead tonight after trying to break into the Cincinnati FBI office. Now, we want to be clear, as of right now, it's not known whether this attack on the latest attack on law enforcement is connected to the series of threats following the FBI's court-authorized search of former President Trump's property in Mar-a-Lago. Our Trevor Alt is in Cincinnati for us.
Tonight, a dramatic hours-long armed shootout and standoff in Ohio after an attempted break-in at an FBI field office. Authorities say just after 9 this morning, a man dressed in body armor with an AR-15 and a nail gun tried to breach the visitor screening facility.
He was armed. He was unsuccessful and he fled that area.
The suspect fleeing 60 miles down a highway in a white Crown Victoria.
They're following a car for the FBI, so there were about 7 units, I believe, on the car.
Officers trying to stop him when the suspect opens fire from his vehicle.
Once the vehicle came to a stop, gunfire was exchanged between officers on scene and the suspect.
The suspect then pinned down in a cornfield, authorities urging residents to shelter inside. Then late this afternoon, officials announcing the standoff was over and the suspect is dead. The FBI was already on high alert. Senior law enforcement officials telling ABC News there's been a notable uptick in threats against agents since the raid at Mar-a-Lago. The chaos coming just 24 hours after FBI Director Christopher Wray was asked if he was worried about violence given the search and what we saw on January 6th.
Violence against law enforcement is not the answer, no matter what anybody's upset about or who they're upset with.
Our thanks to Trevor for that. Dozens of homes in Indiana were damaged and covered in debris after a massive house explosion. Police continued to investigate what caused the deadly explosion as they continue to dig through mountains of debris. ABC's Alex Perez with the latest.
The jarring blast felt blocks away, and tonight investigators in Evansville, Indiana, working to figure out what triggered this deadly home explosion. Seth Phillips was in his own house nearby and says it felt like an earthquake.
We just hear a crazy boom and our whole house shakes, and so we immediately ran outside.
New doorbell video tonight capturing the chaos on Wednesday. The force of the explosion ripping apart this front porch, smoke filling the space where that house once stood.
We're searching for victims. We have one out front on the front porch.
3 people killed, 2 at the blast site, a third in a neighboring home, a 4th person hospitalized. Tonight, the damage to the neighborhood extensive.
39 homes were damaged to varying degrees. 11 homes are uninhabitable.
The cause remains under investigation, but tonight the local energy company says they had no outstanding calls to the home that exploded.
Our thorough leak surveys are coming back with no indications of natural gas being detected on the outside of the structure.
And Alex Perez joins us now. Alex, do you have an update on the investigation?
Yeah, Phil, authorities say thankfully everyone has been accounted for, but they say it could be several days before they're able to pinpoint an exact cause of that explosion. Phil?
Alex Perez for us tonight. Alex, thank you. Overseas in Europe, sweltering and recurring heat waves have taken more than 1,000 lives as tonight Southwest France is on fire. Wildfires raging in wine country, fueled by the worst drought on record. Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z reports from France tonight.
Tonight, firefighters from across Europe converging on southwestern France to fight a fire that authorities are calling a monster. About 10,000 people forced from their homes, some of those homes already gutted.
Le feu se propageant de nuit.
This fire official saying the flames arrived very violently and very quickly.
The explosive fire growth coming after the driest July on record and France's 4th intense heat wave since May. Blistering heat plaguing Europe all summer, killing more than 1,000 people in Portugal and Spain alone. More than 60% of the continent now experiencing drought, all amplified by our changing and warming climate.
The plume of smoke visible from space. Both smoke and flames threatening to damage the Bordeaux region's famed wine grapes.
Endless rows of these scorched forests, and we know now that this fire was started by the smolderings of the fire that was 3 weeks ago that had more than 40,000 people evacuated. This is a region in France that has just been tortured by epic wildfires this year. So far in 2022, more than 141,000 acres of French countryside have been scorched in wildfires. That is nearly 6 times the amount they see in a normal year.
Ginger Z for us tonight from France. Meantime, in Ukraine, the war started by Russia shows no signs of slowing down. And in Ukraine's second largest city of Kharkiv, which is just miles from the border, the reality of everyday life at times feels unbearable. Yet, people continue to push forward. ABC's chief foreign correspondent Ian Pennell spent much of the last several days in that city with its firefighters. And as you will see, found scenes that are both haunting and courageous.
For the last 6 months, Roman Kachanov has been fighting fires on the front lines of Ukraine's war. Stepping over the fragments of lives lost and destroyed, he works amongst the rubble and the shrapnel, looking for a fire.
We need to extinguish it. Let's go one floor more.
This printing plant was shelled 2 days ago, but the fires still burn beneath. The suspected area is doused with water. But the owner of the building asks Roman to be careful, hoping to salvage what he can.
Very expensive equipment for typography below, and he don't want to make it spoiled.
His home city's been attacked by Russia since the war began. The strikes used to take a toll on Roman, constantly responding to scenes of death and destruction. But now, he says as long as there are no victims, it doesn't affect him so much.
For first months, each call was emotional. If you know there is nobody inside, there is no emotion, so you know you need to go there, do your job.
And yet, there are the calls that still haunt, the personal ones, like the bombed building he was called to, where one of the victims was his daughter's friend.
There was 3 kids injured. One of them used to go to the judo classes with my girl, and he right now in Germany they trying to save his legs.
The fire station's been Roman's home since February 24th, the day the war began. He sent his wife and young daughter to Germany for safety, and he stayed behind.
I first saw you online on Instagram. You're very forthright that this is a war that just doesn't make sense. What on earth is the point of this?
Because one madman wants to do something which will be profitable only for him. Of course, everybody understands it's pointless war.
Much of Russia's firepower has been unleashed onto Saltivka, a huge residential neighborhood in Kharkiv, once bustling with families. Ukraine's second city is less than 20 miles from Russia. Most residents speak Russian. Many have family across the border. The Kremlin, assuming it would be an easy target, launched a failed attempt to occupy Kharkiv. Putin totally underestimated the strength of resistance. And Kharkiv's been standing up to Putin's onslaught every day since the war began. But the toll has been immense. Residents have had to witness the painful gnawing away at the fabric of their city, of the home they love. Many who stayed behind are too old, too poor, or just too proud to leave. Many rely on volunteers from local charity 450 and the World Central Kitchen. Over 12,000 meals are prepared every day. Often, it's their only lifeline. And for a few moments, those who stayed behind come together as a community.
How tough is life here for the residents who stayed behind?
Очень тяжело, потому что во многих домах нет света, во многих домах нет газа, воды. Вот здесь вы видите импровизированный душ, импровизированная кухня.
Так, все, мальчики.
Все, дякую вам.
Все расписано, все, каждому даем. Кушать, обеды, никого не оставляем. Валя, идите разбирать.
Valentina's one of those who depends on the daily visits. She's lived in Saltivka for 32 years, and since the Russians started bombing, she starts each day with a cigarette to calm her nerves.
О, эти вот все стреляют, бабахают. Да, вот все через нас. 3 часа не спала ночью. Вот, и как начали во 2 часу и до утра. Мы уже различаем, где наши бьют, где оккупанты. Вот, мы уже знаем. Знаем, когда ракета летит, и наши пытаются ее сбить, мы уже понимаем.
Valentina's only wish is to survive this war, and each day she knows it could be her last. She and the dozens who are left behind live among the ruins of their homes, of their neighborhood.
I mean, it's hard to imagine that this was where someone was living. You can see the fire that's been here, the bomb damage. The only thing remaining that tells you this was someone's home is a radiator in the corner there. It's utterly shocking what they've done.
The scene is surreal. In one part of the building, complete devastation. And in the other, a kitchen intact. A clock still keeps time for a family that have long since fled. Many are left to sift through the remains of their lives. Yuri and Helena have just returned to this. They've been told to leave when the fighting became too intense.
Мы были здесь, в Харькове, когда обстрел был. Мы видели трупы людей, когда лежали вот здесь, вот на тротуарах. Мы видели разорванных людей. Я лично, вот она, видели людей этих разорванных.
Первые дни.
Первые дни. Мы лично видели.
Юр, успокойся, только не надо нервничать.
И после этого они хотят, чтобы мы с ними дружили. Не будет этого. Ну не будет этого.
This is the hallmark of Putin's invasion. Terror. Lives destroyed, people left to bear the scars of a war that Ukraine had no say in. But amidst the ruins, there is hope and resistance. Life goes on amid the bombs and the shelling. The mayor of Kharkiv, stoic, even as the sound of war rings out.
You've received a lot of support from America, but I hear from every Ukrainian it's still not enough. You need more to stop the attacks on these kind of buildings and to win this war. What do you say?
Смотрите, на самом деле на сегодняшнем этапе это вооружение. Это номер один. Все остальное вторично, все остальное мы будем отстраивать, когда отгоним эту нечисть с нашей земли, когда они уйдут из нашей земли.
The reconstruction may be years away, but the residents of Kharkiv stand strong. People like Roman who choose to stay because this is their home, and whatever Putin throws at them, Roman and his crew will be ready to stand, protect, and save their city.
A devastating look at the reality for so many right now. Ian Pannell, thank you. Still to come here, 2 trains collide on a roller coaster, injuring dozens. What happened moments before that terrifying crash? And a twist in the custody battle between Olivia Wilde and Jason Sudeikis. Stay with us.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
America's #1 news, ABC News. Most watched, most trusted, and streaming live to you anytime, anywhere, and free. This is ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Free to you 24/7. Watch America's #1 news whenever you want it, wherever you are, anytime. ABC News Live, streaming live and free on all platforms.
National parks are incredibly safe places, but crime will happen.
Hey, Mama. My wife is fallen. She's in really critical condition.
At that time, I thought it was just a tragic accident. There's still a lot of questions we need to ask.
There were small things that didn't totally add up.
This is 2 lives for Harold that have died now. I was shocked. Something's not right.
Now streaming on ABC News Live 2020. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues, The Hunt. True crime 2020. Now streaming on ABC News Live. Take America's #1 news with you anywhere you go, anytime, free. Download the ABC News app now. Breaking news, exclusives, 24/7. There for you with one touch. The ABC News app. Download it now.
We are tracking several headlines around the world right now. Dozens of people were injured on a ride at Legoland Park in Germany after 2 trains on a roller coaster collided. The accident occurred when one train on the roller coaster stopped and a train behind it didn't brake fully, crashing into it. Police said 16 people were transported to the hospital while 15 were assessed on site and cleared to go home. The public prosecutor's office is investigating the cause of the accident. FIFA has announced it is moving the World Cup up by 1 day. The original plan was for the opening ceremony to be held before Qatar's game on November 21st against Ecuador, which would have created the unusual situation of 2 matches being held before the ceremony. FIFA said ticket holders will be notified by email that the matches have been rescheduled and their tickets will remain valid. The United States has helped Mexico recover a 17th century statue of San Antonio of Padua that was stolen 20 years ago from a church in the country's south. The sculpture was in the custody of an American collector who, upon his death, donated his collection to the San Angelo Museum in Texas. That piece did not have accompanying documents authenticating its possession, and so the museum reported the case to the FBI. A twist tonight in the custody battle between Olivia Wilde and Jason Sudeikis. She is now accusing him of intentionally trying to threaten and embarrass her when she was served custody papers on stage earlier this year. ABC's Janae Norman with the details.
A victory for actress Olivia Wilde amid a bitter custody battle with ex-fiancé Jason Sudeikis.
People saying there's something wrong with us, not the way I see it.
People magazine reporting a judge siding with Wilde, dismissing the custody petition filed by the Ted Lasso star, agreeing that their case should be heard in Los Angeles and not in New York, where Sudeikis considered home for the family throughout the years.
This is for me, right now?
The petition has been at the center of headlines after the actress and director was served the legal papers publicly, seen here in this video while on stage during a presentation at CinemaCon in Las Vegas in April.
Is this script? Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you.
Wilde completely caught off guard. Now, Wilde accusing the SNL alum of embarrassing her. According to the Daily Mail, alleging in a recent filing, Jason's actions were clearly intended to threaten me and catch me off guard, adding, the fact that Jason would embarrass me professionally and put our personal conflict on public display in this manner is extremely contrary to our children's best interests. At the time, a source close to Sudeikis said he had no control over when the papers were served. But in the new court documents obtained by the Daily Mail, saying Olivia's talk was an important event for Olivia, both professionally and personally, and I'm very, very sorry that the incident marred her special moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be all right?
I'm fine.
The two actors who co-starred in Drinking Buddies began dating in 2011 before getting engaged 2 years later. They welcomed son Otis and daughter Daisy, now 8 and 5, before splitting up in late 2020. Wilde reportedly eventually wants her family to be in London, where her current boyfriend could lose this. And star of her upcoming film, Don't Worry, Darling, lives.
Hey, this is you. I believe it is.
And although Ted Lasso films there, the Emmy-winning star wants the kids with him in New York during the off-season.
So what's at stake is which laws apply to their custody case. So different laws in different states are going to affect how a time-sharing schedule is established, how child support is established.
Janae Norman, thank you for that. And still to come here tonight, his TikTok posts combine a passion for work and giving back to his community. We talked to Vic Blends about how he's turning free haircuts into a form of therapy and more in this week's TikTok.
Right now, with so much at stake, Sunday mornings, this is the place. Taking on all the tough questions, straightforward reporting, no spin, no hype, no bull. Thank you for making ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos the #1 Sunday morning news show versus the competition.
Welcome to This Week.
Take America's #1 news with you, anywhere you go, anytime, free. Download the ABC News app now. Breaking news, exclusives, 24/7, there for you with one touch. The ABC News app. Download it now.
The most powerful stories of our time, anytime. Nightline.
Ready for a little GMA-ish promo? Okay, here we go. GMA 7A every day with Robin, George, and Michael. That's how you start the day. Boom!
America's #1 news, ABC News. Most watched, most trusted, and streaming live to you anytime, anywhere, and free. This is ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news, free to you 24/7. Watch America's #1 news whenever you want it, wherever you are, anytime. ABC News Live, streaming live and free on all platforms.
We turn now to our weekly segment, TikTok, where we take a closer look at the story behind the sensation. Our next guest has made a name for himself by combining his passion for barbering and giving back to his community. Fayetteville native Victor Fontanez, known as Vic Blends on the app, offers free haircuts to people on the street and talks with them as sort of a form of therapy. A movement that started with humble beginnings, cutting in his mother's garage, has quickly grown to a fan base of 13 million on the app. Take a look.
As long as you put yourself out there and you put your heart first, whatever somebody has to say in return doesn't even matter. As long as you did the right thing, all right? As long as you believe in it. And when you start, never give up on me, all right?
Powerful words. Vic, so great to have you here tonight. We really do appreciate you taking the time.
And I appreciate you guys for having me. Thank you.
Great. Let's dive right into your content. What motivated you to start this journey of cutting hair for strangers on the street and then talking to them about the things that you do?
Yeah, I think God blessed me with a great talent to be a good barber, and I grew a passion for that, but I figured it out quickly that my purpose was to be able to motivate and inspire others. So I tried to use my gift just to make room for me to fulfill that. And I just decided that, after we came out of the pandemic and, we're back to having human contact, that I would no longer be using my gift to chase other celebrities or rappers to give haircuts to, but I would use it to make an impact on my community and have conversations that matter.
And when you watch the TikToks and you watch the folks you approach, you often say, "Can I bless you with a free haircut?" Obviously, from just talking to you now, just for a couple minutes, I can see faith is very important to you. So what's the deal behind saying, "I'm going to bless you with a haircut"?
Because blessings are cyclical. That means they come back in cycles. So you put a blessing out for somebody else, down the line of your life, everything come back full circle.
You mentioned some celebrities you cut hair for. Your impressive clientele list, you've cut hair for rappers like Nelly, Polo G, Lil Baby, and NBA players like Trae Young. I'm curious, there's obviously a big difference in cutting a celebrity's hair and just someone you meet on the street. What came first for you?
Yeah, I was cutting a lot of talent at first, but I would say there's really no difference. Everybody should be treated like they are a celebrity because everybody is special regardless of how many followers they have or how big they may seem through their brand. Everybody's exactly the same. So that's how I try to treat everybody that I meet on the streets.
Addressing mass incarceration in the U.S. has become a passion project for you. According to a Pew Research study, there was an estimated 2 million inmates who were in prison or jail at the end of 2019, right before the pandemic. Talk to us a little bit about your barbering initiative in California state prisons and how you plan on tackling prison reform one clipper at a time.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be partnered with great guys like Scott Budnick and ARC that's been able to open doors for us to now open the first ever barber school in California prison history. In the history of prisons in California and CDCR, there's never been a barber program allowed for them to get their license while they're incarcerated. So, we were able to pull some strings together, make some calls, and now we're building the first one this year at VSP Valley State Prison. So we're in the building process right now, but that's about leaving long-term change for our communities and to break the cycle of incarceration. Our people need tools, they need opportunity, and more than anything, they need something to go back out into the communities and help, the community that they once hurt before. So, I'm grateful to be in a position we are to have the influence and platform to do so. So I just hope we can help hundreds and thousands of millions of families down the line in the future, man, to see that there's another opportunity out there for them.
That's a beautiful undertaking. I'm curious, when you approach people on the street, what would you say the percentages of people who, welcome it, say, yeah, please, let's do this?
Yeah, there's always going to be them no's out there. It could be 50-50 some days. It could be the first person I ask. And then some days you don't get anybody at all. But, I go out there with my heart first. And, I know whoever does sit in my chair is meant to be in my chair. And more than likely, it always turns out to be a great conversation.
Well, you obviously have a big heart, but you're also a businessman. Talk to me for just a little bit about your affordable online barbering academy and where you hope that takes you over, say, the next 5 years.
Yeah, I do have an online academy that I teach here online at vicblends.com. But aside from that, we have tons of passion projects that we have going on right now, between starting the clothing line coming soon, between having our own unscripted shows. And we're just trying to dive into having more content going and allow my voice to reach a higher level. So, the business is coming along with that. But right now I'm focused on the impact I can bring others.
How old are you, by the way?
I just turned 23 in April.
I think it's amazing that someone your age is so wise in the ways of wanting to give back and help the community that you come from. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I really do appreciate you joining us tonight. I'm a follower now, and I'll continue to look for your great TikToks. Vic Blends, thanks so much.
I appreciate that.
You got it.
Thank you.
And that's our show for tonight. Stay with ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. I'm Phil Lipoff. Thanks for streaming with us.